Hello friends, it's me, Shin, and today I'm coming to you from the Planet Hollywood here at the Miracle Mile Shops, where I'm going to Blondie's for dinner. Really happy to have you along. I'll see you inside. All right, everyone, and here I am seated at Blondie's.
A nice fun sports vibe in here, plenty of screens for your favorite programming. You have bar top seating, as well as high and low rise tables, loud music, and a great energy, a fun vibe in here.
Now, regardless of the vibes, you know, it's all about the food for me, so let's take a look at what they have on the menu. We'll kick things off with the drinks here at Blondie's. We have bottomless mimosas 7 days a week from 7 to 11 a.m. That's fun. Pitchers and draft beer. Feel free to take a pause in this video if you'd like to take a look for your favorite drinks. You have buckets, all very nice. And you have your margaritas as well as your champagne and wine down here. Let's take a look at the other side. And here are some specialty drinks. Looks like your Aperol Spritz up there, as well as they have yardsticks here as well. Mojitos, Girls Night Out, Blue Heaven, lots of fun sounding drinks. And you have mocktails here as well. And that's all of the beverages. Now, per usual, I have work in the morning, so I'm not going to be doing any drinking today, just a Diet Coke. Let's take a look at what they have to eat next. Okie dokie, so here is the menu at Blondie, starting with the appetizers up top. Looks like they say they have the best wings in town. I guess I'll be the judge of that. Basket of fries, all different types of appetizers here. Looks like they have something called the Big Baller. This lets me try a lot of different of items. I think that will go down. Continuing down here, we have different kinds of fries. It could be fries or tater tots. Okay, that looks nice. Steak fries, onion rings with a bunch of dipping sauces. Here we have sliders, as well as a flaming hot mac and cheese. That's interesting. Just some soups here. A chili, a tomato bisque, and a homemade or soup du jour, soup of the day. And then there's also salads and wraps. That's your salad's kind of there on the left. Looks like some wraps on the right. Buffalo chicken, turkey, bacon, guacamole. Yeah, not bad. We'll flip the menu, take a look at the other side here. Looks like they have pizzas at Blondie's. I'll make sure I go in on a pizza today. And then you have some burgers here. Yeah, some pretty standard looking burger fare. We have a list of entrees here. Yeah, very nice. A lot of good looking things. You know, fish and chips are always nice at a sports bar like this. Hopefully it's good. Oops, yeah, some additional chicken Alfredo protein bowl here. And some more handhelds. You've got sandwiches, Philly cheesesteak, Reuben, and the like. As well as a Nashville hot chicken sandwich down here. And some sides and desserts as well. Confetti cake, chocolate cake, and a brownie. Yeah, this is great. And there's your menu here at Blondie's. A lot of really great looking bar food here at Blondie's, and I'm looking forward to trying a lot today because you know how it goes in my videos. Every restaurant is a buffet if you're willing to pay. So I'm going to get a nice variety. Together we'll see what Blondie's is all about. Appetizers are coming up first. I'll see you in a little bit when they arrive. And welcome back, everyone. My appetizer just got here. This is looking really good. Let me give you a view.
I got their Big Baller appetizer, which comes with hot wings, a quesadilla, pretzel sticks, chips and salsa, and their guacamole, an order of their nachos with chicken, and some French dip sliders.
This is all looking really good. Let's give it a try. We'll kick things off with the French dip sliders. They had a French dip meatball as well as a cheeseburger slider. We'll give this a nice little dip in the jus. Let's see how it is. Yeah, it's good.
That is a pretty good French dip slider. I really like the bread, a very soft buttery roll with a slight toast to the center. It has a great feel. I think the beef is okay. It's relatively tender. Unfortunately, it's been on the dry side, but that's where something like the jus really helps. Speaking of the jus, it's quite good. A nice fortified deep flavor to that, adding a lot of salinity to the bite. I'm definitely appreciating the jus here. A nice mild cheese provides some richness, and there's something like a horseradish cream that gives a little bit of a kick in the aftertaste. I actually really like that.
Not a bad French dip slider there. Next up, chicken nachos. Actually, a nice big full plate of nachos here. And you have your choice between chicken, chili, or steak for a protein option. And my server recommended chicken today, and it actually looks quite good. Let's try the chicken nachos. Yeah, that's pretty good.
You have some store-bought tortilla chips here, but they are fresh, nice and crispy. No stale chips, I can always appreciate that. The chicken on these nachos are pretty good. Tender, relatively juicy, not overcooked, which is always nice. I will say it's a tad on the bland side. I think the chicken could use some additional seasoning, but there's so much flavor in the nacho, I think I'm okay with that. A relatively mild salsa provides some additional flavor, but not too much spice. The majority of the heat is actually coming from the jalapenos. And a nice cooling flavor from the sour cream. There's a little bit of an earthiness from the black beans here as well. In general, not bad. They have something like a chipotle cream sauce that's providing a bit of a smoky element. A rich salty cheese layer is always good for nachos. I like that quite a bit.
A solid nacho dish here. Up next, I'm gonna start going in on the big baller. This is hot wings, chips and salsa, pretzel bread, as well as quesadilla. Plenty of dipping sauces. I think I'll kick things off with the hot wings. I'll dip it into a little bit of ranch here. Let's give it a try. Yeah, that's good.
You have a variety of sauces to choose from. Mild, medium, hot, barbecue, teriyaki, sweet habanero, hot honey, and Nashville hot. I went with their medium hot today, and this is a very nice flavor. I wouldn't call this mild. There's a nice kick here. A very appropriate spice for a medium level heat. A nice tang to the buffalo sauce as well. There's a good amount of vinegar here. And the chicken's been fried very well. A nice juicy chicken meat here. I do like that quite a bit. I think the chicken is a tad on the salty side. They definitely over-seasoned this because it is a bit overpowering. A nice cooling from the ranch dressing, albeit the ranch dressing here is not as thick as I would personally prefer. It has been watered down a tad. And me personally, I like a nice creamy, thick ranch. But flavor-wise, it's fine for these wings.
A perfectly fine hot wing there. Next up, we'll go in on the chips and salsa. Looks like this is served with a pico de gallo as well as a salsa verde. I'll try the salsa verde here. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, that's fine.
So as mentioned before, these are store-bought chips, but nothing wrong with them. Nice crunch, a little bit of a salty corn flavor. No real issues with the chips. The salsa verde is quite nice. It's relatively mild. I wouldn't say this is a spicy salsa. A little bit garlicky with a smoky green chili flavor. I do like that. We'll get a dip of the guacamole here as well.
Let's see how this is. Yeah, that's good.
A very nice rich guacamole here. A nice ripe avocados. The flavor is definitely robust. And it's a well-seasoned guacamole also. Not too spicy. I think it could use a little bit of additional kick. As well as some brightness. A little bit of extra lime juice can go a long way here. But a nice garlic level. In general, good flavors.
Not bad chips, salsa, and guacamole here. Next up, the quesadilla. A pretty plain looking quesadilla here. But you do have guacamole, salsa, as well as pico de gallo. So I'm sure we can add a lot more flavor. I'm gonna try it straight up first though. Let's see how it is. Yeah, I'd say that's just okay.
This is about as basic of a quesadilla as you can get. You have a store-bought tortilla. Though it is relatively pliable, I think just a little bit of additional cook would have been nice. And the cheese is relatively melty and rich with a salty flavor. But overall, it's just a bit of a boring quesadilla. We'll go and add some pico de gallo as well as the guacamole. We'll give this a shot as well. Much better. As I mentioned before, the guacamole here is already quite nice. And the pico de gallo is very fresh. Mildly spicy, but some nice sweetness coming from those tomatoes with a little bit of additional bite from the raw onion. It's exactly what this quesadilla needed. Be sure that you add those toppings to the quesadilla if you want a much more robust bite. All right, everyone, now the last bite I'm going in on from this appetizer round is gonna be the pretzel. They have both a cheese sauce as well as something like a bacon jam, I believe. We'll try the cheese sauce first. The pretzel bread. Oh, that's very good. I really like this pretzel bread. A little bit firm on the outside with a nice chewy and airy center here. A bit of a toasty flavor to this pretzel bread also. I like this. This cheese sauce is also very good. Very clearly a beer-based cheese sauce. Not only do you get that rich saltiness of the cheese, but there's an underlying wheat-like beer flavor providing a nice extra dimension of flavor here. It goes on this pretzel bread very well. I'm actually enjoying that quite a bit. And I'm gonna try it with this bacon jam also. Let's see how this is. Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
That's an interesting bacon jam. A thick, sticky consistency to it, but still very jelly-like. A nice texture here. A nice sweetness coming from this bacon jam, but a very smoky saltiness as well. I think the smokiness is actually the dominating taste here. That might be just a little overpowering.
Not a bad bacon jam though, that is fine. All right, everyone, now that's gonna do it for all of the appetizers today. I'm gonna take a couple more bites and box this all up to go, and then we'll do our first round of entrees. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. And welcome back, everyone. My first round of entrees just got here, and to start things off, we went with a lot of handhelds. I got a pepperoni pizza as well as their cheeseburger, the Reuben sandwich, and their Nashville hot chicken sandwich. Now, their sandwiches do not come with sides, so I added skinny fries, sweet potato fries, and onion rings here. And this is all looking good. Let's give them a try. First off, let's try the cheeseburger. Pretty standard looking cheeseburger here. Although I think they're using either white American or maybe Swiss. You gotta have a good burger at a sports bar. Let's see how this is. Yeah, that's pretty good.
A very standard burger here at Blondie's. Firstly, I will say that I really like the buns. Very soft, toasty center, a little bit rich. There's a nice application of butter here, and a tad on the sweet side as well. I do like this burger bun. I think the produce here is fine. A little bit of bite coming from the raw onion, and some sweetness from that tomato, and a little bit of additional crisp coming from the lettuce, although it is a tad on the wilted side. This is a Swiss cheese, and is providing a nice mild flavor here. I asked for my burger cooked medium. It's looking a little bit closer to medium well, but it does have a nice beefy flavor, and it's relatively well seasoned. I think what this burger is missing is a sauce. It could use a little bit of additional moisture and one extra dimension of flavor. Even something like a Thousand Island could go a long way here with a classic tasting burger like this.
A perfectly fine burger though. Now try the accompanying French fries. As mentioned, none of these sandwiches come with a side. You have to add them. I feel like every handheld at a sit-down restaurant like this should come with a side. But I tried to get a nice variety here, so we'll start with the skinny French fries. Let's see how they are. Oh yes, very good.
This is a fantastic French fry. Very obviously made in-house. I'm appreciating these hand-cut French fries. A bit rustic with the skin on, and a very nice cook. Crispy exterior, a pillowy center, a nice starchy potato flavor here. This is good. It's well seasoned, a little bit of parsley also.
I like that quite a bit. That's a good French fry. Okie dokie, next up, this is the Nashville hot chicken sandwich. A pretty classic looking Nashville hot chicken sandwich here. And I'm certainly a big fan of this recipe if it's executed correctly. The Nashville hot chicken sandwich. Oh, that's very good.
Now this is a very good hot chicken sandwich. Starting off with the bun, I've already kind of mentioned what I like about it, and it still applies here. It was great on the burger, it's good on the Nashville hot chicken sandwich. Certainly a fan of the bread. Now firstly, this chicken is really great. Perfectly fried, a nice crispy skin to this. That texture crunch is really satisfying to bite into, and you have a juicy, well-seasoned chicken meat in the center, providing some good flavors. The Nashville hot oil that they've applied here has a lot going on. A very bold, spicy oil here. It definitely has a fair amount of heat, as well as a smoky nature. A very nice blend of spices here. It's working very well. You have a vinegary coleslaw here, providing a little bit of respite from that spice, helping cut through a lot of that heat and kick. I like the sour tang coming from the pickles, helps to alleviate a little bit of that spice as well. And a simple garlic aioli here is also providing a nice balance against that spice.
A very good Nashville hot chicken sandwich. I like that one. All right, next up, let's try the onion rings. Again, I tried to get a nice variety so we could take a good look at their offerings here at Blondie's. And these onion rings are giving me a lot of hope. I'm pretty sure these are made in-house. Let's see how it is. Next up, this is the Reuben sandwich. Loving this marbled rye bread. Let's see how the Reuben is here at Blondie's. Oh yeah, that's good.
A toasty marbled rye bread provides the base. A little bit of a sour flavor to it, well toasted, and a great texture to it, a little bit of structure here. Also buttered for a little bit of richness, a good rye bread. I actually do like the corned beef. A nice salty flavor to that corned beef. It's very tender, thinly sliced, making for a very easy bite, and a deep beefy flavor to it. I do like the corned beef here. A nice mild richness coming from that Swiss cheese, and a creamy rich tang coming from the Russian dressing. The sauerkraut also provides a little bit of an additional sour hit to the flavor profile here.
That Reuben works just fine, a solid one there. Next up, let's try the sweet potato fries. Pretty standard looking sweet potato fry here. Let's see how these are. Yeah, that's good.
A nice flavor to these sweet potato fries. Natural sweetness of that sweet potato comes through very well here, but I will say it's a tad on the rich side. These are pretty oily. A very light and straightforward seasoning. I think it's just salt here, which is usually my preference. I think sweet potatoes have enough flavor on their own to really carry themselves.
I think if these were just a little bit less soggy with the oil, I would like them a lot more. Alrighty, and the last bite I'm trying from this first round of entrees is going to be the pepperoni pizza. A pretty standard looking pizza here, but we'll see how it tastes. Pepperoni pizza. Yeah, it's good.
The crust is a little bit crispy, some nice toasty edges on the outside, but I think I would have preferred a much toastier underside. That said, it does have a nice little chew to it, though I do think it's a little bit sweet in flavor. In general, though, a totally passable pizza crust here. I don't think I'm a big fan of the pizza sauce here. It definitely leans very sweet and slightly tangy. I think I would prefer a much more savory and garlicky sauce here. A perfectly fine mozzarella cheese though. Very melty, rich and salty. That works well, although I think I would personally prefer just a little bit of additional cheese here, just because the cheese layer is quite thin. And while rustic cheese distribution has its place, for a more classic pie like this, I really like a lot more cheese, but that might be a personal preference. The pepperonis here have a slight spicy saltiness to them, and certainly adds the most flavor here to the pizza.
A pretty standard pizza here at Blondie's. All right, everyone, now that's all of the food I'm trying from this first round of entrees. Just a few more bites. I'm gonna box this all up to go, and then we'll do our second round. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. And welcome back, everyone. My second round of entrees just got here. This is looking very good. Let me give you a view.
I got an order of their fish and chips as well as a shrimp protein bowl, their spaghetti and meatballs, and their skinny blonde chicken with macaroni and cheese and broccoli.
This is all looking very good. Let's give it a try. We'll start things off with the skinny blonde chicken breast.
A pretty standard looking chicken breast here, although just by looks it does look a tad dry in the center.
This is the skinny blonde chicken breast. Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
This is a pretty solid chicken breast. Despite its looks, it was not as dry as I thought it was going to be. But that said, it's certainly not a super moist chicken either. Some very nice flavors here though. It's not bland, and there's something like a smoky seasoning blend on the outside, providing a lot of flavor. Definitely salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, and some paprika in there. That additional smoky element coming from the paprika is really nice here.
A pretty standard chicken breast recipe, not bad. Now the chicken came with two sides, and I went with macaroni and cheese and the broccoli. We'll start with the macaroni and cheese first. Pretty standard side here. Let's see how it is. I'd say that's just okay.
This is on the verge of being pretty good, but there's just a few detractors keeping it from reaching that bar. Firstly, the noodles are quite mushy here, far past al dente, but unfortunately not. The texture leaves a lot to be desired. The cheese sauce is rich and salty, but it is very heavy. Some parts are not so much a sauce as it is just melted cheese. It lacks a certain creamy quality that you want in a macaroni and cheese.
Sometimes simple is best, but I think it's a little too simple here. We'll do the other side next. This is the broccoli. Let's see how it is. Yeah, not bad.
A pretty straightforward broccoli here. It's been blanched well, very soft, a slight firmness to it, but otherwise wholly untransformed. If it is seasoned, it's seasoned very lightly. Not a lot of taste past the natural broccoli flavors here.
A very healthy side though. I think if you're looking to stay skinny like the name would imply on the dish, you want to just get the chicken with some broccoli and it'll probably do pretty well here. Next up, fish and chips. A staple dish at sports bars. Always like finding a good fish and chip. We'll dip it into the tartar sauce here. And let's give it a shot. Oh, that is very good.
A great batter on this fish, wonderfully fried, a perfect texture. Such a satisfying crunch biting into this. Though the skin is a tad on the oily side, it's not leaving too much grease on my fingers, so I am certainly liking the feel. A nice mild fish flavor here from the cod inside. It has been well seasoned, a wonderfully firm, flaky texture to this fish. It's very good. A relatively standard tartar sauce here. A little bit of tang, creamy and rich. Works very well with the fried fish. That's very nice.
A good fried piece of fish here. I like that a lot. Now the fish and chips come along with their steak fries as opposed to the skinny fries we tried earlier. We'll see how these are. Yeah, it's pretty good.
A solid steak fry here. Just like their skinny fries, these are hand cut, made in-house, though not as crispy as their skinny French fries, but a similar pillowy texture in the center. A little bit more of a raw potato flavor with these as opposed to the skinny French fries also, but a little bit of a smoky seasoning blend here provides some additional flavor. It's quite good.
Perfectly good steak fries, those are fine. Okie dokie, next up, let's do the spaghetti and meatballs. A pretty classic dish. Even the pickiest eaters are typically okay with spaghetti and meatballs. I've got a little bit of meatball and some spaghetti on the fork here. Let's give it a try. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Similar to the noodles, these are passed al dente, though certainly not as far as that macaroni before. I would definitely appreciate a much more firm texture to these noodles though. It does not make for the most satisfying chew. I do like the spaghetti sauce though. I was afraid that this was going to taste very sweet, similar to the pizza sauce, but we have a very clear distinction here between the two. A much more cooked down and savory sauce here, with a bit of a zesty quality to it. I do like the spaghetti sauce much more than I did the pizza sauce. I think the meatball is okay, though it does have a nice meaty quality. I think it's a tad under seasoned. You don't get too many of those flavors in the middle of the bite. But given that I do like the flavor of the spaghetti sauce, that's not too much of a detractor.
A fine spaghetti dish, just a little bit more seasoning than that meatball. This could be a lot better. Now next up, we'll try the accompanying garlic bread, a typical side when it comes to a pasta dish like this. Let's see how it is. That's actually very good.
I actually really like this garlic bread. A nice soft roll with a great toast in the center. A little bit of crispy crunch is really welcome here, especially given the soft nature of the noodles. It's nice to have this variation in texture. Wonderfully rich, a great amount of garlic butter has been applied here. A very sharp garlic flavor actually, almost to the point of being slightly spicy. If you're a garlic lover, you are going to love this garlic bread, and I happen to be a garlic lover, and so I'm loving this bread.
A very nice garlic bread there, I like that a lot. All right, everyone, now the last bite I'm trying for my meal today is going to be the protein bowl with shrimp. You have your choice between chicken, steak, and shrimp here. Here's the protein bowl with shrimp. Oh, you know, I'd say that's just okay.
Now, by the recipe, this should be a pretty straightforward dish, but there's just a couple of elements here that I'm not really jiving with. Let's start with some of the good. The rice here is actually fine. A good cook to this rice, a springy, bouncy texture to it, and a little bit of a neutral sweetness to this white rice. No real issues there. The broccoli is fine, just like I had as a side with the chicken. Blanched well, a little bit firm, but overall still soft. Relatively unseasoned though, with a straightforward and raw flavor, and that is fine. I think the shrimp and the teriyaki sauce are where I have the most issue. I wouldn't exactly call this baked shrimp, but it's certainly not the big, juicy, plump, succulent shrimp that I would prefer in a dish like this. It's just lacking a certain meaty quality that's making me not appreciate this dish as much. Now the seasoning blend on the shrimp is okay. It's very similar to Old Bay, although I think they're very forward with the celery salt. Within the spice blend, it's very pronounced. As mentioned before, I'm not a big fan of this teriyaki sauce either. It's lacking a certain bold quality. It feels watered down to a degree. A little bit sweet, a little bit smoky, but in general, the flavors are very muted. I want a lot more from this sauce.
That's a bit of a shame. I wanted a lot more from this dish. All right, everyone, now that's all of the food I'm trying here at Blondie's. I am super full, so I think just a few more bites. I'm gonna box this all up to go, and then we'll do a little bit of dessert next. Don't go anywhere because sweets are coming up. And welcome back, everyone. It's time for some dessert, and I already got my order here. Let me give you a view. Now, they have 3 desserts here between their brownie, their chocolate cake, and their confetti cake. And given that confetti cake is something I haven't had in a while, I thought I would go with that. Here's the confetti cake. You know, I'd say that's just okay.
Now, this is a very sweet cake. A lot of sugar in that bite. In fact, I think it's easy to say this is too sweet. The cake layer actually leaves a lot to be desired as well. It's a little bit dense, not all that cakey and moist. I would like a lot more when it comes to the texture of this cake. A very straightforward sugary frosting, and bits of crunch coming from the sprinkles here provide some texture, but in general the frosting is just far too sweet, and the cake layer just doesn't have a great texture and lacks a lot of moisture. Not a great confetti cake, unfortunately. All right, everyone, now that's going to do it for my dinner here at Blondie's at the Planet Hollywood. My dinner this evening came out to $285 before tip, and I had a nice time. I thought the pretzel bread with the beer cheese was the best appetizer I tried today, but I didn't necessarily think any of the appetizers were all that bad. The Nashville hot chicken sandwich is absolutely my favorite from the handheld round. A lot of really great flavors there. And I also really enjoyed the fish and chips. A very nice piece of fried fish here at Blondie's. That was good.
All in all, if you're here at the Planet Hollywood and you're looking for a sports bar to get some dinner at, this is what you can expect here at Blondie's. All right, everyone, now that's going to do it for the Saturday video where I'm continuing my quest to vlog every restaurant on the Las Vegas Strip as well as downtown. Coming this Tuesday, I'm returning to a much more local place here in the Valley. Make sure you come back for that one. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great weekend. And I hope you enjoyed Vegas with me, Shin. Bye.